It's on. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the LFC Transfer Room. My name is Lewis, and today we're going for another live stream, another 7:30 stream. Yeah, a lot to discuss. A lot's gone on today. It's been a very busy day. In terms of contracts, injuries, fixtures, all the above, a lot going on. So we're going to get into that today. If you are new around here, though, if you haven't done it already, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. I'm joined today by Willem, Menti, and Hassan. Willem, how are you? All good?
Yeah, all good. Looking forward to a weekend rest and then hopefully Dicking United on Sunday.
Yes, that needs to happen. Please, let's make that happen. Everyone in the comments, make sure that you type in the comments letting us know what you think the score prediction is going to be for the United game this weekend. It is this Sunday, FA Cup quarter final, with a view of getting into the semi-finals. That'll be discussed on tomorrow's stream, so tune into that. Same time, 7:30 p.m. Menti, all good?
Yeah, I'm all good. Similar to William, just excited to play United. Usually we always turn up at Old Trafford recently, so I'm very excited. So I know they're going to try to park the bus like they did at Old Trafford, but we'll see how that goes.
Jen apparently says it's going to be 8-0. If it's 8-0, I'll honestly, I wouldn't put it past us at this point, the way we're going. We just saw what we did to Sparta Prague, so I think pretty much anything can happen. Hassan, how are you? All good?
I'm all good. I'm also excited for the game.
You know what? Out of all three, I think that's interesting is the fact that after, sort of a spoiler for today, we've got the Europa League draw, which we're going to discuss in depth. We've got Dan's assigned a new long-term contract and update on Jota and Trent's fitness when they're due back. And everyone said that they're excited for the United game. I mean, that just says just how big of a fixture it is. I mean, I suppose we can touch on that briefly then. I mean, what are your thoughts towards it then, Willem, with regards to the United game?
I mean, I think especially as well it being the quarterfinals of the cup and our squad really also being very vocal and very expressive in the way that they want to go out and win all 4 trophies. I think that is also kind of the excitement that Sunday gives me, knowing that. I mean, this goes obviously for pretty much every game we've got going right now, but like the fact that you want to keep winning to keep going in these competitions and keep on going on, and we get to do it against a rival who turned up Anfield a couple of months ago and part of the bus. So hopefully we can also, in that sense, get a bit of revenge that, okay, we can smash them at home, but let's give them a good go at Old Trafford then.
Well, I mean, you said there, like, they parked the bus at Anfield, which, fair enough. And maybe there are people saying, well, it's at Old Trafford, they're going to go for it a bit more. Old Trafford means dickhole, let's be honest, nowadays. It doesn't have that same atmosphere it did 10, 12 years ago. I mean, is that a correct statement to be saying?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I mean, back in the day, they were good. The results spoke for themselves, but nowadays it's just basically been like a training ground for Liverpool players. I saw that someone in the comments said a hat trick for Salah. Hopefully, yes. Darwin gets his first hat trick. I feel like it's just a game because all United do is they like. Ten Hag honestly doesn't. I don't know what he does tactically as a manager. I don't know what style of play that they got. It's not like how it was when he was at Ajax. So I could see like if they do what they did at Anfield, I know they're just gonna try to just keep breaking it down, and when one goes in, I think it's like the floodgates open. I genuinely want to see like United fans leave the stadium, so that's what I expect to happen. Yeah,
we need to see that 5-0 from was it last season or was it the season before? And all the fans.
It was a quadruple season.
Oh, quadruple
was
with
it the near quadruple?
Yeah.
God almighty, that feels like a million years ago. I suppose in a sense it was. A lot's gone on since. Hassan, what do you think with regards to the United fixture?
Yeah, really excited. I think they will go a bit for it because this is the only chance of trophy for them. So I hope they get a bit aggressive and it will play in our hands. I watched the only game of them against City and I was cheering for them, sadly, because it would have suited us and Rashford goal excited us all. But the way they played, it was so depressive. I asked United fans, how do you even keep up with them? They were so bad, abysmal. But they can't keep a ball to their feet at all. They couldn't pass at all. So if we go at them, we can score many goals, and hopefully we score early goal and go from there.
Well, as I said, everyone, make sure you tune in for the stream tomorrow. It'll be the same time, same place. We'll be discussing that in depth. I believe it's Slack doing it, so tune in for that. Be a good one. A lot to talk about with regards to that fixture, but we've got to focus on a different quarterfinal. It's hard to keep up when we're in so many, let's face it. But the Europa League draw was today. I've got the results of the draw today, like no one's else seen it, but just to go through it. So we've got AC Milan versus Roma, Bayer Leverkusen have drawn West Ham, Benfica have drawn Marseille, and Liverpool have drawn Atalanta. So it's a trip to Italy for us against the side who we played in the Champions League 3 seasons ago. I think Diogo Jota got a hat trick in one of those fixtures at their ground. So we've got a history there. I mean, I sort of asked the same question around to everyone, but Willem, I mean, realistically, of all the draws, is this the best one we could have got with regards to everyone still in the competition?
I mean, I'm not going to underestimate Atalanta. I mean, if you even look recently at their performances they've had in the Serie A, I think they managed to get a good draw out against Juve, and I think that was away from home as well at Juventus Stadium, playing really well. I remember in that game. They're a side that likes to attack a lot, which will favour us in that kind of sense. I think if we would have had a bit more of a traditional Italian side like Roma, maybe, or maybe even I wouldn't even say Milan's actually a traditional side. I'd say we're still more one of the. We'd rather sit back and try and catch on the counter a little bit if we've got a chance to, kind of team. But Atalanta don't really want to play that way, so I think it's going to be one of them where it's either kind of going to go like the last draw a little bit, where we're going to be really efficient and really on it, and we're going to get those goals really quick, or it's going to be a lot cagier than a lot of us probably would have expected, because they are a good side.
Well, they definitely are. So, if you go through Atalanta's season so far, they're currently 6th in Serie A. They're on 47 points, which in terms of reaching the top 4, they're only 4 points behind. They've won 14, drawn 9, lost 5. And as you mentioned there, they did get a good result recently against Juventus. They got a draw. Other than that, they've admittedly in the league, they haven't won since the 17th of February. It's been over a month, so that could be something that factors in. I mean, Menti, with regards to it, are you happy with Atalanta? Like Willem said, we can't take them for granted, but out of all the teams, like I said before, I mean, is there anyone you would have rather had in this situation?
Honestly, I don't mind the draw. It's actually a pretty good draw, but like as a fan, we all know what the final was going to be and what, UEFA was going to somehow end up making that final happen. So it looks like that is going to happen. So I thought we were either going to get Atlanta or Roma. So Atlanta is fine. But whenever you play Italian teams, they're always difficult. So you can't just say you're going to, just beat them. But I think it should be a good game. I think Klopp is going to go into it like trying to win it because he's been putting up pretty decent lineups. I love the rotation between like the old heads and young heads. So it just keeps a good balance for now. So I mean, that just shows through the injuries that he's capable of doing that. I mean, we're going to take it for granted and we're going to, cherish these moments once he leaves. But I think it should be a good game. Definitely don't take them for granted. But I think we should be able to beat them.
Yeah, I mean, like he says here, they did beat us at Anfield in the Champions League. That is true. They are a very attack-minded side. They have lost a few of the players in recent seasons that did sort of make them that incredible team, but they've still got players in there like Luis Muriel is in there, Ademola Lookman's still in there. They've got, I mean, Said Kolasinac, who can, it's not really a massive threat, but there is still good attacking players in that team. Let's be honest, they're still a threat. I mean, Hassan, yeah, same sort of thing too. I mean, Atalanta, they're definitely not a team that we can be writing off. And what I want you to sort of discuss here is the fact that, like in the last fixture, we went away and then we had the sort of comfort of going back to Anfield in the return leg. This time we're at home first and then we have to go to Italy, which can be a bit of a volatile ground. I mean, is that a factor with regards to this fixture?
Yeah, exactly. Klopp is going for this cup. It was demonstrated last game. He put up a really good side. So I think he will in Enfield. He will try to get a good score so we can be a bit relaxed in Atlanta. When we go there, I was really excited when the draws were going on, and I was praying that we get the second one for the semi-final, that Benfica and or Marseille. So everything was good coming in for us, and in that draw, we go to their home first, and the second leg will be at Anfield. So everything, it was positive. It was a really good draw. We managed to put aside, I think, Leverkusen till the semi-final or final. Final, sorry.
Leverkusen to be the
Yeah,
final. If
yeah.
yeah, well, I mean, you touched on it there. Like, so the way it's going to work is we play Atalanta in the quarterfinal, and Benfica and Marseille. Whoever wins their fixture, obviously, providing we get past Atalanta first, we play either Benfica or Marseille in the semis. Whereas elsewhere on the other side of things, you've got Roma are going to be playing AC Milan, which in all that sounds like a good fixture. I know it's an Italian League one, but they're going to be well up for that. And then you've got Bayer Leverkusen versus West Ham, which I kind of want to touch on the Leverkusen thing, Willem, a little bit, because I know we're going to be discussing Liverpool in depth, but obviously with the prospect of Alonso, West Ham is going to be it's going to be a good test of how Alonso would do against an English team. I don't think he's played an English team since being at Leverkusen, so I mean it's a good test in a sense for him.
I mean, it definitely is. I think as well, it will obviously be interesting because I was reading the comment from Paul before saying they've been shaky for the last couple of games, but I mean, to be fair, they have been unbeaten all season, and like I think they're also kind of in their heads thinking of like how far can we go?
On them.
How far can we go in with this unbeaten run and keep on going the entire time? And I think that is also slowly playing a factor. So I think he should be fine. I don't see why he shouldn't be. If he can beat Bayern home and away, why should West Ham be a problem? Let's be honest. And that's not to disrespect West Ham. That's not to say anything, because again, I also think West Ham are a really good team, especially with the experience they've gotten last year from the Conference League. They seem to have been growing in these European tournaments. So they are definitely a good test for him. But I think he should probably be getting the job done. Maybe West Ham get a draw or get a win at their own ground, but I can't see it. Personally, I can't see it go wrong for Leverkusen over 2 years.
No, yeah, I'd have to agree. I think it's still sitting back against a West Ham team they're okay defensively. To be fair, they do have moments, but they're a good unit. You know, we struggled against them at points in the past. If, you know, obviously not in the league, but like in the League Cup, but they have proven to be a difficult team over the past few years under David Moyes. So Leverkusen might have the work cut out for them in a way that maybe we're just not really seeing at the moment. Healer says they're going to be an interesting one. The result against Karabag doesn't reflect the game, so West Ham are really up for a challenge. And to be fair, like I, like everyone, thought Leverkusen were going to go out, but Hassan, Alonso's got that sort of what Klopp's got, where it's not over until the last second. I mean, it bodes well for if he is going to come to us that he has that mindset of just don't stop until the last whistle goes.
Yeah, exactly. But I was astonished to see when the last goal went in, he was really cool in celebrating. If it was Klopp, he would have gone berserk.
Oh God,
It's
yeah.
it's different. But that what you said, he also have that mentality monsters with him. The way he say till the last, it was, we were chatting on the group. It was like now Alonso is also out, and but in our hearts it was like maybe they will do it, and they did exactly what was needed to do. uh, it was really good. Hammers are attacking wise really good. Kudus and Bowen are really going are really in form. It will be a test defensively for them. The way Leverkusen plays, the way they keep possession. Uh, it will be a good test, and for them, the semi-final will be tough for them as well. If it's either Milan or Roma.
Well, I mean, I think this Roma team, like if you're looking through every team in this at the moment, Marseille are doing well. West Ham, we know them quite well. Leverkusen, of course. Roma under De Rossi seem to be revitalised. They've been incredible since De Rossi came in. He's given them that sort of Solskjaer boost that he had originally at United. You know, former player who's come back. He's doing a really good job there. So that's someone to look at. Paul said Mikel Antonio's licking his chops waiting to play us in the final. God, I hope not. I don't want West Ham in the final. I mean, I'll get your thoughts on that because I'm quite a. I want us to be in Europe to see us against other teams in Europe. Like I don't want to see us just end up in a final against an English team. Not only because it's a team from our league that we play anyway, but I think there's more pressure when you play a team from your league because if you lose, it's the fans are local. Do you know what I mean? You're going to hear about it a lot more. I feel.
Yeah, for me, I know Paul was like saying, West Ham aren't bad, but I mean, I saw West Ham get blitzed by Bristol City this year, so it's like it is what it is. And they lost in the FA Cup. They lost to United 3-0. They got smacked by Arsenal. And then when I was watching the last game for Bayer Leverkusen, like the way Xavi plays is like very similar to like Pep. So it's like the other team that they played, they barely had the ball. It was like, let me see, I think I had this up. It was like 584 passes to 194. Like it was ridiculous. So West Ham, whenever they play a possession side, they tend to usually, squabble. But in a two-leg, it could go both ways. But I'm very confident that Leverkusen is going to stay undefeated. So I don't see them losing. They just got that mentality. They're like similar to like Liverpool in a sense, like Alonso. They just don't give up at all. Yeah. So I was surprised when they won in extra time. I thought I was going to go to like penalties, but yeah, I don't see the West Ham beating them. That's just my opinion.
No, I mean, I'd have to say I'm in agreement. I think West Ham are doing. I don't know how we've started talking about Alonso again more than us, but that's hey ho, it's probably going to happen. Let's be honest. West Ham at the time of doing this, they're currently 7th. They're on 43 points. If you look at some of the matches that they've had recently, they've got some decent results actually. Just give me a second. So they thrashed Freiburg 5-0, drew against Burnley, which isn't great, but then they beat Everton, they beat Brentford, they got thumped by Arsenal and Man United. So they're very they lose to the teams that you expect them to, and yeah, absolutely. They lose to the teams that you expect them to, and then they thrash the teams you'd expect them to. I think they're just a consistent under David Moyes, especially. They're like a consistent mid-table team, and that's just where they belong really at the moment. We'll go back to Liverpool then. I mean, Willem, I asked Hassan the same thing before, but like, how big of a factor is this whole? We're going away. We're at home first. Say that game, we come away from it with a 1-1 or a 0-0 or a 2-1. I mean, having to go to their ground, which we've been to before, we've heard how volatile it is. I mean, how big of an impact can that have?
It would definitely not be a great situation to put ourselves in, especially with the games coming in thick and fast. I think you would definitely want to prioritize the job at Anfield, especially just more keeping that. Again, I know Klopp always says we take it game by game and we take everything, but when you're going for all competitions and you're getting through the latter end of the season, you can't help but every once in a while look a bit further ahead than just a game ahead. And I feel like, especially with this being 2 legs and with us having the opportunity to finish it off at home first, or at least not finish it off, but put ourselves in a great position. We have the opportunity to really set the tone ourselves. So we should be doing that. And if not, we will be like, if Atalanta at home can definitely all of a sudden score 2 out of nowhere and just gain that bit of momentum, and we could be having an off day, just like we had against Arsenal at the beginning of February, where absolutely nothing's going right. And then because at the end of the day, they're still human, our players, they're still gonna at some point not always be perfect and not playing well the entire time. So it's definitely an opportunity for us to just set the tone and kind of get the bigger part of the job done without having to go down to Atalanta's ground. And if not, look, obviously I still trust our squad to get it done in Italy, in Bergamo, but I think we'd all prefer a result at Anfield, also in the sense that we can probably rest a couple of legs in the second leg.
Yeah, well, I mean, You mentioned there resting. Like this is not going to be like they said it last night perfectly. We're past the sort of point where you can anticipate who's going to win. Like every team who's in this competition now is in it on merit. Like they're all worthy of being there. Like Menti, I'll go to you at this one and then to you, Hassan. So the fixtures fall. The first fixtures Thursday, April the 11th. So we play Man United away on Sunday, April the 7th. So we've got a 4-day break. So we're away, home, and then home again 3 days later against Crystal Palace. That is what it is. We've been doing with that all season. That's not too much of a problem. The real problem comes with after that Palace game, we've got a 4-day break where we then go away to Atalanta, and then we only have 2 days before we play again, and that's Fulham away. So the fixtures are getting congested, and a 2-day break is not a lot. It might get pushed back, we don't know, but I highly doubt it at this point. We've still also got to fit Everton in there. Like we've done very well with the fixture congestion so far, but are you all nervous with how short of a gap that is in between games, especially in the running?
I would say not too nervous, just because like we've had so many players injured this season. Like players are just slowly coming back, and the rotations have been great this year. So honestly, it surprised me because we're still somehow winning every game. So you could tell the youth have stepped up like massively. Like no one at the beginning of the season could have predicted this. So with the old heads like Jota, apparently Bajcetic might come back. Like just players slowly just creeping back in. The rotation is going to be fantastic. I mean, Klopp has done this for many years. You know, like when we were in the Champions League, you know, he was always just complaining about congestion. So I feel like Klopp knows how to deal with it. And once he gets more availability, I think he should be able to get through it. You know, I'm not trying to say Fulham's bad or anything, but like we should be able to beat these teams with the players that we have and the players coming back. So I think it's just all about mentality and just keep pushing it game by game.
Well, you mentioned there players coming back from injury, and Paul said we should be pairing in April with Jota, Jones, Trent, Allison all coming back. And who's that? I don't know. Who's that?
Get Thiago out of our club. He's daylight robbery.
Fiego. I don't know who that is. Talking. Sorry, Paul. You're gonna have to sort of
Guy,
if you can explain to me who it is, that'd be brilliant. Thank you. I mean, Hassan, that brings me on nicely to the next topic. Thank you, by the way, Paul. We do appreciate it. But so injuries. Obviously, I mentioned the run-in then. We've talked about, we've got a lot of fixtures coming up. We're still in the Prem. We're still in the FA Cup. We're still in the Europa League. And it's been, like the other day, for example, we had a limited number of defenders. We had a limited number of options. But Klopp has come out today. He's given us an update on all the injured players, but two in particular have stood out. He said that Trent and Jota are in contention to be fit and ready for the Brighton game on the 31st of March, which is early for both of them. That is a big step up from where originally the diagnosis was it was going to be mid to late April. Now apparently it's going to be the end of March. I mean, how valuable is that news at the moment?
Yeah, really valuable. Normally, when international break comes in, it's such a downer. I know it will be boring for us, but it has come for a perfect time for us because we are going for all the competitions. If we were out of some, maybe it would have not be such a effect on us. But now all the young kids are. I was worried about Clark, but he's okay now. Maybe Konate will be out, but he will also be back after an international break. So it's a perfect time because all these players are okay now. More reinforcements and more senior players coming in for the final 2 months. So really good times ahead. And I think Klopp has maybe learned a lot how to use these players. He knows their strengths now. Uh, it was not due to choice, but due to circumstances. But it has really developed our team. Many players. We have now so many options.
And just to, because I'm poor at my job. I just want to get that really clear here. I've told the wrong date, so it's going to be the week after the Brighton game. So he said today he's gone through the injuries of like the whole team. So Jurgen Klopp and players return to Brighton. Curtis Jones, Diogo Jota and Trent will be fit for the week after Brighton. Stefan Bajcetic is now in pre-season to build his match fitness. With regards to Ibrahima Konate, he said that it's going to be a tight race to see if he'll be fit for Sunday, but he's probably not going to make it. So he won't be ready for United game, but he'll 100% be back after the international break, which is good news. Other than that, there's no real updates on the injury front. So I mean, Willem, same thing to you. What do you think of the injury news? And also, as mentioned here, Gravenberch back in training. Same with Clark. I mean, it does feel like while other teams are suffering injuries, City with Edison, being a big one, we're getting everyone back. I mean, this puts us in great stead going forward, surely.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. You got a point there. I mean, City with Edison's not exactly the greatest example to put out because I've been putting in the group chat all week that Pep's already started the mind games. Why I say, and I'm guaranteeing you, Edison will start against Arsenal in 2 weeks.
And De Bruyne as well.
Yeah, and De Bruyne, he's definitely starting. We know it. When Pep is a team and he's going in a title race with them, Pep is getting the mind games out. And it's just a fact. But like, as in, I think, we are obviously benefiting from getting those guys back, but at the same time, they've been out for a while again. We don't know what rhythm they'll be coming in, if they're going to be fully coming up to speed. But again, we're in quite a luxurious position that the kids have really stepped up, and the players, some of the players who thought would be more fringe players have actually slotted in really well as well. So I'm more actually in the mood right now of whoever's playing the best and whoever's in their good form and can do the job there, let him go. And we'll get Trent coming in, and we'll get Jones coming back in, and Jota coming back in. But I'm pretty fine right now with where the squad is at the moment, actually.
Are you nervous with regards to, say, I'll keep this with you, Willem, because you brought it up, but obviously you mentioned there the young lads and the fringe players. Are you at all nervous that when we get this fully fit squad back with Curtis Jones and Gravenberch and all these lads coming back, that players like Bobby Clark and McConnell and Dans are going to struggle, and maybe it's going to be a bit of a, not a knock on the confidence, because I think they understand their sort of place in the team, with all due respect to them. They've been fantastic, but they know they're not going to get a lot of first-team football. But is it going to be a little bit of a knock for them, being sort of pushed back down the ranks?
I don't think so, actually, because I think if you look at Kwanzaa this year, and also to a degree Bradley, they've kind of also gone into it in a kind of sink or swim situation where they've just been thrown in and they've just done their job. And I think throughout a season, loads of injuries can happen. Anything can happen throughout it. Like, as in, for all we know, one of our players commits a crime and they get locked up for 2 years, and then we need a guy to get left back or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like, anything can happen in football. So it's also one of them where I think it won't bother them too much. I think they've also just got the mentality of, I'm good enough to be here, so I'm going to show that I deserve to stay here, which is rightfully so. And you can only credit that to our academy for the limits they've set onto these kids coming in, and kind of the rules they set in, the whole, you don't come out and get a car of these kind of cylinders and engines and budget stuff, like just really keeping them grounded. I think that also just in the long run is going to benefit them a lot, because instead of them maybe moaning or maybe having a fit because they're not getting their game time, so they want to go out on loan again, and that might not just be the case at all, because they've just got their heads down and they keep on wanting to work onto it. I think, if anything, it might be more of a chance that one of the new signings who's come in and sees one of the kids take over their spot. I think there's more chance of them throwing a fit about it.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. And Healy makes a good point. And Menti, I'll give you the sort of crack on this, because of all we've seen so many young players come through this season that we could make a whole starting 11 of them. One who I feel very nervous for, I mirror what you said, Willem. I do agree. They'll sort of understand there'll be a reason, they've got a long-term future, but I will feel bad for Connor Bradley. He's been, when you can perform so well that we're not even noticing that Trent's injured. Like, I'll be like, I do not feel like he's been gone at all. Bradley's been that good. Like, who do you feel the worst for with regards to these young lads who, let's be honest, they probably are going to get dropped when the first team has come back? Like, who's the one who you're thinking they've got a real stake to be competing for their first team spot.
Honestly, I don't think Connor Bradley is gonna. I don't think it's gonna be that easy for Trent to come back in, just because. First of all, he's so good. I didn't expect him to be this good, but like every game, he just is like so good. Like last game, you saw he played the double pivot, so they're just trying him out similar positions at Trent, and the scoreline's been like crazy, and he could defend pretty well. So, I think, and you see Trent coming out in an interview saying, "I want to play in the midfield. I want to play in the midfield." It looks like Bradley might steal that spot, but I definitely could see whoever the next manager is definitely try to get Trent in the midfield. But I don't think it's going to be that easy for Trent to like walk in and get that spot. Don't get it wrong, Trent's a legend, but you see what Bradley's done this season. It'll be more like McConnell, Clark, those type of guys, because once Szoboszlai, McAllister, Curtis Jones, those guys come back, they're going to go down the pecking order. I still think they'll get minutes probably around like the 80th, 70th when we're up comfortably. Like Klopp is comfortable to just bring them on when we're winning. But yeah, I don't think Connor Bradley's going to lose his spot. Trent's got to fight for it. If not, he's going in the midfield. But Connor Bradley's been amazing. So, why fix something that's not broken? That's how I look at it.
Yeah. I mean, to that point as well, and I'll keep it with you for this one, Menzi. I mean, surely that's a good sign of Klopp saying, no, you've got to earn this spot back regardless of who you are. Like, you're not getting in. No disrespect to Trent. We all love Trent, but obviously he has to be able to earn that spot back. And if anything, he could become better for that, having the competition, surely.
No, that's actually exactly what we need, because Trent, his whole career at Liverpool, hasn't had anyone to challenge him for his spot. So Trent's basically in a new place, in a new space for his head. I think he's going to be great, but I think it's going to bring the best out of Trent. Remember when Trent was just throwing out like 10 plus assists every year? I was like, oh my goodness. So him, having Bradley in this competition will bring the best out of him as well as Bradley. Basically, iron sharpens iron. It's good for us as fans. We'll just make that a manager problem. But no, it's definitely going to make Trent better for sure.
Well, Hassan, I mean, Jem put Klopp's going to continue to play the kids. They don't need to prove how good they are. Now, we've spoke a lot about, and we will touch on the first teamers who are coming back as we go through this, but the kids, I'm going to keep calling them the kids, they're Klopp kids, let's be honest. Yes, they're still going to get a few minutes, but what we've got to consider as well is when these first teamers come back, like your Jotas, your Gravenberch, your Trent, your Allisons, a lot of the people who are in the starting lineup now are going to move on to the bench, and therefore the people who are on the bench are going to get knocked to the reserves. And we already have so much depth that it's all well and good us saying the kids are going to be on the bench, but there's no guarantee of that. Like, of all of them, if I could say to you, pick 3 who you want to see feature more in that squad when everyone's fit and available, whether it be the bench or start. And I mean, who are the 3 who you're picking to keep their spots?
Yeah, I'll say, as Menti said, that it is really refreshing, because in previous season when the main guys weren't injured, we were sweating like anything that what will happen. Now these players have done so well, and it will benefit a lot to us in the future, because Curtis, Trent, players, those who are coming back, they will have competition of a younger player than them, putting up these kind of performance. They need to settle in really really quickly, so they know that if they have a stinker, they will be off, and the young kid will come back. Look, whenever Ellison went injured, we were we had really bad games, but now Keller step up massively. It like Ellison is a huge miss in every season, but the way Keller has performed, it is really really exciting and really good. So it's a really really good and a plus point that we have competition all over the park. Uh, Jota coming back will have to play really well to be in the starting lineup. Curtis, Trent, uh, Konsa has performed really well. We were in the starting of the season, we were wondering maybe we'll give extension to Matip. Now it's sorted. that met up. It's the last season for him.
Yeah.
So really, it's really impressive what we have done this season. And last season, we never dreamt of in this position. We were in the start of the season, we were talking maybe we should qualify for the Champions League. That must be the one trophy or another. Now in this position, it's really great.
I mean, there's a lot of comments come through. Ollie free riders. I assume that you'll never ride alone. If it is, I'm quite proud of myself, to be honest. But they've put Connor Bradley, Bobby Clark, and Dans should be the three who get a go in that team. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think that's probably the fairest shout. He was put thank God for the kids this season. Most folks probably don't read stats like me, but this is our worst season ever when it comes to injuries. Did not know that. That's quite a. I mean, to be fair, thinking on it now, that there has been a lot. And Paul Lindo is saying that Menti saying Bradley taking Trent's spot is like saying Kelleher should continue to play even when Ali is fit. If Kelleher's been performing, I mean, Willem, you look like you've got something to add.
I got something to say about that too.
I'm
let you go.
more on the team now, especially with having had Bradley these last couple of months playing there. I'd rather see Trent in midfield than actually go back to a right back. I'd rather keep in a position where if Gomez gets injured or Bradley gets injured, that's where we make Trent the right back again. But for me personally, now after seeing Bradley play at right back, and I know it's a big debate with him all the time, and I don't think Trent is a bad defender. But oh my God, when we have a right back who can actually even defend better, wow! I'm sorry, and in my opinion, Trent is going to come back. Trent has to play, and he has to come back. But I think it's time to put him into midfield.
I mean, Menti,
Trent is literally injured, saying I want to play in the midfield. Like Connor Bradley is like, I'm not even trying to hate on Trent. Trent can't defend. Like there's been times it's just like I watch the game and I'm like, yo, what are you doing? Sometimes he just gives up the ball. You see he makes no effort. I mean, I'm gonna call him out for it because I care, like I want to win. But he literally himself wants to play in the midfield. He keeps repeating himself. You see he's done well with England. He's gonna end up in the midfield. And I feel like with the next manager, the way Bradley plays, he could go up and down the flank, same as Trent, but he could just defend. So that's why I see Trent going into the midfield. He's generational, so he's gonna get in the team whether you like it or not. But say, for instance, if you do get Alonso, like I could see him playing like Grimaldo, just like go forward and attack, pass, whatever. But yeah, not. If you think Connor Bradley does not deserve to keep playing, you're crazy. I'm not saying he's fully gonna just take his spot, but I mean Trent wants to go in the midfield, so that right back spot's basically his.
Well, Trent, as much as we give Gareth Southgate stick, and rightfully so at points, he's playing him in midfield and he's running the games. Like he's dictating play. He's a mercurial talent, and he's one of those special players. He's got a passing range that is second to none on earth. I'd say he is the best passer of the ball, or at least he's in the top three. I'd say if we move him into midfield, let Bradley keep his spot. The only thing is, there's no point doing it now, because there's no point gambling Trent in midfield now with the run-in and the title and the Europa League and the FA Cup. Whoever the next manager is, and I agree with your sentiment on it, he should be the one to try it and see what goes. I mean, Hassan, like, do you agree with that statement with regards to moving Trent into midfield?
Yeah, like you said, maybe next season, because I'm midfield with Endo playing the way he is playing, and now McAllister is now getting more and influential. Midfield is really sorted. I think maybe him coming in, we have to maybe make more tactical switches. So I think Klopp has always said that from that side he provides the most. So I think Klopp will still play him there. There will be a rotation between him and Bradley. In some games we'll see Bradley, and in some games we'll see maybe in more important games we'll see Trent, and in the second legs or in the teams which are not that attacking, we will see Bradley.
I've opened the wrong message there. I do hope your recovery goes well, though. Me just want to say really quick.
Likewise, I wanted to say as well, shout out Jamie's man. Hope it's going
Shout
well.
out Jamie's legend.
There we go. So there you go. Jay, you just got a shout out, and I like that. Good to see you all. Good to see you too. Make sure you get your comments in. Paul said, so Lou, a fully fit vice captain on the bench. No, I'm not. I'm not saying he should have been on the bench. I think Trent will just come back in and take the right back spot, but I just don't think it's fair on Bradley. I think Trent should move to midfield, but when he does, there'll be a pre-season behind him to be able to fully indoctrinate him into that position under a new manager, under a new system. The new manager might prefer him there. The new manager might prefer him at right back and might not favour Connor Bradley. You know, we just don't know at this point. At the moment, it's just we're all on the sort of Connor Bradley hype train because he's been so good that we're just trying to find ways to get them both in. But I don't think Trent's going to be on the bench. Whoever comes in, whatever the plan is, Trent will find a way to start because he's just that good. That's just the way I feel about it. Players, here says again, players with different skill set will always allow to play with more tactics and is very helpful in difficult games. Yeah, I mean, Trent is one of the most versatile players. I'd say with Joe Gomez, so you know it's beneficial having them than not to have them. We're going to move on to not the last topics, but you know, if anyone's got any questions, put them in. We'll discuss them at the end because the next topic's not going to take too long. To be honest, just it's a bit of good news to sort of go through at the end of it. Just before we get into that, everyone, please make sure to hit if it wants to show. That'd be brilliant. It's not showing, but yeah, hit like and subscribe. If for some reason it just doesn't want to load up, but yeah, there we go. Everyone hit like and subscribe. So Dan's new contract. Right, the stream's making me a mug now because it's just decided to pop up like 2 minutes after I pressed it. So appreciate that. But yes, Dan's has signed a long-term contract. That's today, being rewarded for, quite frankly, the performances that justify it. He's been unbelievable since coming into this team. The goals against Southampton said it all. His contribution in the Carabao Cup. I mean, Willem, just your thoughts on it and just Dan's season as a whole so far since stepping up.
Yeah, I mean, I've been a bit upset actually that he's been missing the last couple of games with the concussion he got from the game against Forest. But yeah, really happy with his new contract. I think he's one of the potential guys to be keeping around. It could be going either way into possibly and it depends on a bit obviously on what we do in the summer because right now we just don't have a clue. I mean, we at least know who's going to be making the decisions in the summer already now with Edwards and Hughes coming back. But obviously, more in the sense of I'm glad we're keeping him around. I'm glad we've given him a new contract. But just because he's got a new contract, doesn't mean necessarily that obviously he's got his long-term future for us will immediately also pay off in the short term. I think there could be a chance that maybe from next season on we will maybe see him out on loan. And then after that, they will probably get him after some development. They will probably be getting him back for the long term again. But super happy with him. Super happy with how he's been performing in the games where he's had to step up. And yeah, great player.
I mean, I completely agree. I think he's been absolutely unbelievable. Menti, I mean, your thoughts on Dan's and is there a sort of? It doesn't have to be from now. It can be from any point in our history, or even just a player that you can think of off the top of your head from a different team. But is there any player that Dan's reminds you of in a way, the way he plays and his abilities?
I don't want to say it's compared to him a lot, but I guess I'm not saying he's Harry Kane, but there's similarities to him. If you look at all of his academy goals and stuff, just the way he plays, he's pretty good. Honestly, I haven't been super excited for prospect that's a striker in a long time, but it's just raw talent. Oh my goodness, that chip! When he caught subbed on for Gakpo, the commentator himself was like, "That's what Gakpo should have done in the first half." He literally just ding. So he's just a natural finisher. So, depends on who the manager is. I don't know if he'll go on loan. It's pretty good. He's going to be good for competition. He's going to be really good. So I could see him staying around with the first team, but I mean, we'll never know who's going to stay next year. Some players could leave. Some big players could leave. Some players could stay. So we'll just have to wait till the summer,
I think that might be something that I didn't even think about, and Hassan, I'll put that one to you before we move on to the sort of Q&A bit. But Dan's the fact that it's a long-term contract with the fact that we don't know who the manager is sort of does actually scream out he is going to go on loan next season because he is probably not going to get to play with all the players in front of him. Like, is that probably the best move for him at the moment, or would you be keeping him around the first team as to sort of learn how the new manager is going to want his team to play?
No, I think he should be kept because he's developing really good. Like Mehdi said, for last many years, there is from academy, there has never been a striker, a number nine, proper number nine. We have been so excited for, and the way he plays and his physical attributes. He's not a small kid. He's big and heavy, and he's developing. So, and he's really confident and aggressive. That is what we need. He will be really good for the competitions. And but Edward is coming back, who is really ruthless with the transfers, and he can make profit from anyone. And so it will be interesting to see because we all knew that Klopp was really sentimental with his players, and he liked to keep them until they prove otherwise. But Edwards coming back in, he can move maybe first team players like there's rumors about Diaz coming in. Uh, Jota can be persuaded somewhere else. So it will be interesting to see who moves in, who moves out. But the way he's developing, in my opinion, he should be kept. Maybe Kumas and other players, maybe should be go on loan to develop more.
And Paul says here, Doak, Dan's, Clark, McConnell, Bradley, Kwanzaa, Kumas. I mean, wow, that is true. And we still got Musialowski, Neoni's in there, Narlo's another one. We saw Luke Chambers earlier this season. Like, there's so many young players that are coming through.
I wanted to say on it as well. You know what's even crazier? No one's been talking about Bajcetic. We haven't even as in Bajcetic's become a background thought for it, and even I've been thinking actually he might be the only person losing out from the fact that so many of our kids have stepped up.
Yeah,
because it's going to be interesting to see how he comes back.
Here's why I don't think he'll lose out. I mean, Endo's a good DM, but he's 30. By Bajcetic, he can play DM, so I think it might benefit him.
But he's Japanese, mate. Japanese people age like fine wine.
That is true. He's like 4 years younger.
They are though. Statistically, they are the oldest people in the world.
I agree. But it's gonna.
It's for sure. He'll be running for days, mate. He'll be fine. So
Tyler
benefit him for sure.
Tyler Morton is having a really good season, and he's playing that position.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna get sold.
And Carvalho.
I think
I forgot about that one as well.
I mean, Carvalho is a bit like, oh god, but he again, he is having a good season, and it just goes. There's so many players. It's incredible that we've gone from last season where it was just Henderson, Milner, Keita, Ox, Thiago, Fab, and 5 of them were injured basically all season. To we've got too many players. Oh my god, what are we going to do? Like we could field 3 starting 11s at this point, and it's just ridiculous the talent we've got. I'm going to go to the sort of question bit because there's been quite a few actually, and I'm really do appreciate it, guys. Everyone who's been putting them in. First one, I'll sort of go around, but question: would you rather lose in the semi-final of the Champions League or win the Europa League? Win the Europa League. Is anyone disputing that, or
win a trophy? I always take the trophy.
Win a trophy, yeah.
It doesn't matter if you lose in the final, semi-final, or quarter-final. You don't win it anyway. So go for the trophy.
Trophy.
If anything, I mean, I can either celebrate and winning a trophy and enjoying myself or be disappointed that we went out in a semi-final. So yeah, I'd rather the Europa League. To be honest, and if anyone's got a thought on this, feel free to jump in because I might be talking wham, I don't know, but I love the Europa League. And it's not even because we're in it this season. It's just I've always had a thing about it. Like Klopp's first season one of my I remember going to when we played Zenit in 2010, I think it was, or 2011, 2012. I can't remember the year exactly, but we played them at Anfield. I love the Europa League. There's something about it that's just really special. And I mean, does anyone sort of disagree with that or share the sentiment at all?
Not really. I think as well what's helped a lot is the Conference League coming in the past 2 years and kind of all the shit that the Europa League used to get or kind of had as a status of oh, it's the B team trophy. Well, now we have a C team trophy, so it's just kind of gone into it. And because in these top 5 leagues, all these teams are becoming a bit stronger at the top. I think as well it's made the Europa League a really good competition over the last couple of years. Whereas, in my opinion, for example, which is quite a controversial one, I'm not that against the new Champions League format, apart from the fact that they put in the 2 extra games. I don't think that I did it this way again and the other way. I keep forgetting for the UK that's not the right one. But as in, I think that the Champions League really do kind of need a format shake-up because I think it's been a bit predictable and dull over the last couple of years.
Yeah, but the only thing I don't agree with it, I'm not overly keen on more matches because there's already stupid about matches and the extra time and everything on top of it. But also, I don't like, and I know it sounds a bit tin hatty, but I don't like that it's done on a computer because to me that just screams anything could be put in. We want this team to play this team. Done. Right, there you go. I don't like it personally. I mean, Jamie, you said I need to get out more. I mean, all right. Yeah, I think gave it. Sure. Hassan, I'll give you this one. If Alonso does become our manager, will he bring any Bayer Leverkusen players to us and who? I mean, that's an interesting one. Hassan, what are your thoughts on it?
I would love he brings in Wirtz, Florian Wirtz, because he's really good. Maybe Hincapi. But as we were discussing in this whole, we have now so many players, and we are excited for all of them. I think we need to give them more chances. But him coming in, he will need to and want to bring in someone he really have confidence in.
Well, Paul said Wirtz is a number 10. Do we really need him? Well, maybe not. Yeah, maybe not. But I'd love to see him in. He's one of those players. I think he's very talented, and yeah, I agree. Hayler's put we can't really afford many of the Leverkusen players. Possibly not, but we are going to sell people in summer. Let's be honest. Whoever the manager is, he's probably going to sell a decent number. I think we're going to have to see a big season of sort of upheaval. Menti, this one is quite a big one actually. If it's not Alonso that replaces Klopp, who do you want instead? It's Alonso. Just before we move on, it's Alonso or bust. Let's be honest. But
That's
who do you want to see if it's not Alonso?
I don't want no one but Alonso, as crazy as it sounds. I'm the same way. If it's not Alonso, I'll be sick. I'll be so sick. But they have to do everything in their powers to get him, and I think FSG will at the end of the day. I know Michael Edwards is ruthless. Like you said, he's going to sell a lot of players. So we're talking about a lot of these academy kids. I mean, some of them are going to be sold this summer. But hold up. I just saw what Paul said. Yes. Maybe add more money, but 100 mil. If he wants to, hear me out. Hear me out. If he says, I want to go, we'll let him go. But other than that, honestly, that's up to FSG and their businessmen. If you offer that much money, I don't think anyone's safe at the club. Besides Salah.
I don't think Trent's ever going to say, I want to go. I mean, I might be wrong. We saw Gerrard tried it in 2006 or 2004?
2004, 2005, I think it was.
Was it 2004-5, Chelsea?
I think it was the year we actually won the Champions League, but because we had such a dire year in the league and in the cup before it, I think that kind of turned his head.
So, I mean, to be fair, there were people burning kits as well and threatening. So, I mean, that might also have something to do with it. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, Trent, I don't think he'd ever say he wants to go. But if
he wants to go, let him go. That's how I look at it. you know he's going to be worth over 100. But if he himself wants to go, we'll let him go. If not, I'm fine. He's nice, so it's a win-win for us. We might hate it, but and you know FSG likes money, so
they do. I mean, yeah, they do. Of course, they do. But I mean, and Willem, I suppose I'll give you this one then. Like, A, I want to get your thoughts on that Trent thing, but also B, and I did this some video on my channel where I said, does the new manager coming in, does selling Salah for 200 million make a lot of sense because he's going to have 200 million to make a squad that he knows and he can work with? I mean, is that something else to consider?
It is something to consider. I hope it doesn't happen for both, by the way, as well. On the Trent question, I don't care. Trent's another one. You can offer me 220 million. I'm not taking it, mate. You can keep it. Like, as in Trent, there's three players for me. Yeah. There's 3 players for me who are untouchable, and that's Mo, Verge, and Trent. Alisson, look, even Alisson. No, sorry, 4 Alisson. That's the other one. I've got.
Before you carry that on really quick, they're the 3 players that run out of contract soon, so you might not have much of a choice in it.
Yeah, but I'm gonna if we get an Alonso, I don't think they'll be leaving anytime. Plus, as well, I again personally, if one of the 3 is gonna leave, I think it could be Mo. I still refuse to believe it, and it's all for different reasons. If you look at it, Verge has just got the captaincy, and he's really showing also publicly. He is showing his love for the club, and he is showing that he really wants to stay and keep on going on this next step. Trent's just become vice captain. He's a local lad. I just don't see him leaving either. And then also with Mo has said over the multiple times over the past couple of years, I want to keep playing at the highest level in Europe in football possible. Saudi Arabia is not the highest level. It's the highest salary, but it's definitely not the highest level. And for that reason, I can't see any of the 3 leaving. Then again, who am I? I don't know. For all we know, Michael Edwards comes in and he goes, yeah, but it's true. I have no clue. But like, for all we know, Michael Edwards comes in and he goes, well, I feel like Verge is going to slow down looking at the data for next year. Might get rid of him now. You know, if he looks at Salah and he went, oh, Mo's gotten injured. He never gets injured. Time to go, mate. Like, you know, obviously these are very rash examples I'm putting out there. But I personally, I can't see it happening. I hope it doesn't happen. Even with the Mo question as well of the 200 million, I wouldn't, because again, who are you bringing in? I generally asked one of my mates this, and I went, after Salah and Rodrigo on the right wing, who do you take in world football after them?
Yeah, Bukayo Saka.
No, he's not leaving, and no,
he's not. He's not. I just
no. It was like Rodrigo from Madrid.
Yeah, Rodrigo from Madrid.
He could
come. But he'd cost.
I know he's not.
He'd cost loads.
Yeah, well, if we get 200 million for Salah, we can spunk 150 on Rodrigo.
No,
okay, I wouldn't do it anyways, and I don't think it's going to happen.
I agree. I wouldn't want it to. Paul says, so how are we saying Trent is untouchable and at the same time saying Bradley should take a spot in the team? I'm not saying Bradley should take his spot. I'm saying that, and Hassan, I'm going to let you do this because you got very passionate then, like that. I'm not saying that Trent should lose a spot in the team. I'm just saying that we need to find a way to somehow fit them both in because they're both just incredible. I mean, Hassan, I'll let you have the floor with this because you take it away.
No, because Paul is fixated on this only. That is why. But look, in every season, for past maybe 4 or 5 seasons, whenever he's coming in, Trent, we were always saying that he does not have competition. Whenever he had a bad game, we said maybe if he has a competition, he will play better than this. So it's really good that he finally have a competition. Now Bradley can fill in at the right back, and Gomez can also play there. So Trent have now competition. So it's good for us, and Paul, we can now if we can finally move on.
He's saying he gets crazy about this. Trent is by far my favorite player. You know what? That's fine. I think he's up there with mine. I think he's definitely up there. And yeah, I think have I got one more? My thing's going very slow. Well, we kind of touched on it before. It's the last one just before we leave, and I'll sort of just throw this up to everyone. What are we going to do with Fabio Carvalho? Are we going to sell him? I'm thinking no. I think the new manager's going to come in and see what he can do with him, and then we're probably going to sell him off if that is the option. I mean, anyone got thoughts on it?
I think he'll be gone.
Just gone. Like sold.
I think he's going to be sold. If not, they might loan him out, build up his worth and sell him. But honestly, after that Klopp issue, we don't really know what happened. I just don't see him like coming back in the first team. And there's already good players, so he's going to have to be competing with.
But
the academy kids are already ahead of him, so it's like.
But it was with Klopp. Maybe new manager comes in, puts his hands around him. Maybe he can change him. Maybe it can happen. It will all depend on the new manager and Edwards. It will be a really interesting, maybe a heartbreaking summer for all of us.
I mean, yeah, go on, Will.
Oh yeah, no, sorry. I just wanted to. I think he's probably as well the asset. Look, just looking at age, what he's doing for Hull right now, how much we signed him for at the time, and just looking at the squad overall, I think he is one of the assets right now that is primed to be sold. Along with the fact that it looks, at least for me, I think you have to do quite well to actually get Klopp proper pissed off at you that he doesn't want to play anymore, and that he doesn't want to include you in the squad. And I feel like Carvalho does have a bit of that attitude about him. He had a lot of issues with the Portugal under-21 manager, hence why he changed nationalities as well. It seemed to be kind of with a similar issue. And I feel like if we can get a real good offer for him and with real good, I'm talking between 30 to 40 million pounds here, by the way. I'm not talking just try and get some winnings off what we signed him for, like at least make double the profit, almost 2.5.
You want like a Dominic Solanke, Jordan Ibe kind of deal, like where they go for exceptional money.
Yeah, and also for him, I also just personally don't think he's good enough to come into the team. If I'm being brutally honest, if you look at all the other players around, if you look at how Harvey's developed in the last year compared to him, and it's again, also Harvey, never an issue, always there at the club, always wanting to talk to everyone. He's already taken on that example role at 20 years old, and I just haven't ever really seen Carvalho do that. Then again, I might be completely wrong, and I don't know obviously what it's like behind the scenes, but that is kind of my gut feeling on the situation.
Well, I mean, that's the sign. Like two against two on that. Like he probably is going to get sold, but I'd like to think that the new manager coming in would sort of give him the benefit of the doubt and say, right, let me work with you for a minute and see what you can do for me. And if maybe do the preseason, and if he still doesn't like him, yeah, off you go. It's just fine. But he is one of those players who I was very excited when we signed him, especially after the Newcastle winner. And, the chance is still there. He just needs to buckle down and go down the sort of like the Harvey Elliott path more than the Mario Balotelli, like that Ben Arthur kind of path. Like he just needs to get his head down and work. But yeah, we are going to shoot. Jamie says, smash those likes, everyone. Absolutely. If you are new around here, or if you're not and you're just sponging off and deciding to watch it, which, why don't you make sure to hit like and subscribe. There's streams every single day, 7:30 p.m. UK time. There's going to be another one tomorrow doing a match preview for the Man United game this Sunday. There's also another expert analysis video going up in the next few days with myself and Dan Club from Redman TV. That's going to be up in the next few days, so make sure you tune in for that. And go check out the last episode I did with Jay Pearson. It was a really, really enjoyable one. And yeah, Willem, Menti, and Hassan, thank you very much for coming on. Really appreciate it. And we will see you all in the next stream tomorrow, 7:30 p.m.